What Yu-Gi-Oh cards are overpriced right now? Welcome to the Solemn Yu-Gi-Oh channel where we discuss everything collecting and investing in Yu-Gi-Oh. So the other day I got the question, you're talking about things being underpriced or overpriced. What do you feel is overpriced right now? And well, I don't want to just make a list of everything I think is overpriced. So I instead will give you one example and then all the lessons and factors that contribute to that. First, I want to bring you one concept. It is very possible that something is overpriced but still goes up in the near future. Because there's this saying, the market can stay irrational for longer than you can stay solvent. So you might see something, say this is overpriced because of A, B, C, D, E, and the market will just irrationally keep throwing money at it and it'll go higher and higher and then you think, wow, I was so wrong. You invest and then it crashes. You may have been right, but it can take quite a while for you being right to actually play out. The markets aren't rational. And so me saying card A is overpriced, in a year from now, it may be higher. Well, maybe in the short term, I absolutely was wrong, but if fundamentals aren't there, that doesn't mean people won't put money there. And that's very important because a card may have certain fundamentals that make it probably a good investment or whatever, and people may not be interested in it. It may never go up, so it may be undervalued, but if the rest of the market doesn't see it, it's probably just properly valued, even though fundamentals may be there that could make it reach higher prices. So it's not really about this will go down or this will go up. It's about what's the risk? What's the reward? So what card do I think is actually overpriced right now? I think Unlimited SDK Blue Eyes is overpriced. And again, doesn't mean it won't go up. People can be irrational all they want. But why do I think that? I'm going to compare that card to Unlimited base set Charizard. And here's why. Its current price is being justified because it's an alternative to the proper better card. People can't afford first edition base set Charizard, which had actual rarity to it. And so they went into the Unlim based Charizard. It looks similar, it's just less rare, right? And so because some people say, well, it's a blue eye, so it must go up, it creates this speculative loop where it goes up, people see it goes up, so they think it'll go up more and they buy more and more and more and more. And it's a blue eye, so it's all okay. Same thing in the Charizard there happened. You know, people saw Logan Paul and Steve Aoki and all of this crap, so I'm gonna buy a Charizard, can't afford the first ed, I'll go to the Unlim, it'll go up anyway, right? And it goes up, 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 up. However, here's the problem. If you have a Facebook mom, you know, the kind of mom who goes into a group and goes, serious offers only, please, I know what I have. And then they show you some beat up base set Unlim Charizard or some beat up Unlim SDK Blue Eyes. Those are the types of people who have these cards. You know, you gotta ask yourself, why is it that these people always have these cards specifically? And the answer is because everyone fucking does. Base set Unlim was printed into oblivion. When all the articles broke of, look, this Charizard sold for this much, there was always some guy in the comments going, oh, I used to have that card. No, you fucking didn't. You had the Unlim. Everyone had the Unlim. Same thing in the Blue Eyes. You go to a Facebook group right now where people, well, aren't as sophisticated with all of this. They aren't into the big collections things. They're just a Yu-Gi-Oh, most likely like a local Yu-Gi-Oh group. That's where you usually see this. And someone goes like, I have this old binder. What's this worth? What's in there? Always the same shit. The Sphinxes from the Yu-Gi-Oh movie, like this one, those Sphinxes. Blue Eyes Shining from the movie. SKE cards, SYE cards, like the starter deck evolutions, which were printed into oblivion. And then the Unlimited starter deck cards. Every binder has these. Every fucking time. That's like the first page, you know. The first page is the Sphinxes, Blue Eyes Shining, some Unlim starter deck crap, and then after that some comments. That is every binder out there. All of them. Everyone had this. Whenever people say like, oh, starter deck Kaiba, everyone had that. Yeah, everyone had the Unlim, not the first ed. Big fucking difference. But you know, people don't look at that. They don't consider the big difference. And so you gotta ask yourself, if everyone had that, what are the odds that there's just a bunch of mint ones still out there? And now, I hear you. Most kids absolutely destroyed their cards and that adds scarcity. Absolutely. Like that's why first ed cards are worth this much right now. But there have to be hundreds of kids who did not destroy their cards. So you don't just need that age to destroy all the cards. You also need a level of scarcity from the get-go. And first ed LOB had that. First ed of every booster set almost had that. And first ed starter decks, mostly Kaiba Yugi, not so much Joey Pegasus, had that. Unlim did not. Unlim was on shelves forever. And so yeah, there are people with the beat up SDK Blue Wises, and sure, for every 1,000 there may only be 2 people with them not being beat up, but when we are talking about millions of people who had this, the non-beat up number scales quite fast. And so while the pop report right now on Unlim SDK and SDY may not be high because people never gave a fuck to send it in, if that price keeps on rising, a lot of people will send it in. And that's exactly what we saw on the base set Unlim Charizard. It went up super hard. A lot of smart money basically saw, whoa, what the fuck? I'm dumping my shit. A lot of people instantly sent them in on Express, dumped, and the price collapsed to literally pre-hype numbers. There's not many cards that collapsed to pre-hype numbers. This one did, because it's just that plentiful. And so while our Unlim Blue Eyes may keep growing because we didn't see the same speculative hype as in Pokemon, I believe that if we see such speculative hype, and of course like we've had plenty of it, just not as big, I believe that card will en masse be sent in for grading and then instantly come to market in like the biggest supply ever. So when you look at what cards are overpriced, you really need to consider how many people actually have these cards. And sure, they may be beat up, but if almost everyone had it beat up, the odds of a lot of people having it not beat up are extremely high. When you ask yourself what's overpriced, you gotta ask yourself, how hard is it for a bunch of people to list this at once? Because if something reaches some crazy peak, a lot of people will list at once if enough people have it, right? And it just cascades down from there. That's what we've seen. If your card is pop 1, can't keep relisting. It's impossible. The demand might wane a little, but you can't have the oversupply issue that the 90s sports wax era had. That is the crucial difference. So for example, I have actually been very careful around MRL lately. My Toon collection is currently on hold. Like, I have all of the cards in near mint to mint condition, but I never bought the graded counterparts because what I noticed is I found so many raws still. And that tells me that there's a lot of raws out there still. Unlike other sets, you know, in MRD, LOB, IOC, Magician's Force, it's very hard to find proper raws, but for MRL just, it kept coming and I realized, okay, there's too much of this out there. We are currently at, you know, peak hype. All of these prices went up, but there's just so many ready to be relisted again. Doesn't mean stuff can't go higher. I'll gladly hold on to all my Toons because I just love Toons that much, but the risk exists. And if we already established that Yu-Gi-Oh has plenty of demand, supply is the next thing you look at. I think Unlim SDK is in real danger. Despite it being beautiful art, everyone grew up on it, blah, blah, blah. I think the supply is just way too fucking high. And I think if we see pullbacks, that's where you see them first, if enough people send them off. But at one point they have to, right? If prices keep rising, more people will send it off, and then we will see the true supply of these cards. That is all. Hope you found this interesting. Like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.